Okay, so I'm going to measure down along my selvage 22 1/4. And I'll take a little snip. We're going to tear our fabric. If your top edge is cut, then I want you to take a little snip and tear a fresh tear all the way across, okay? Whenever we prepare our muslin, we do tearing. Why is that? Because it allows us to find one yarn going across and one yarn going up and down, okay? So once I have my 22 1/4, I'm going to take a nice size snip, and then I'm going to tear across. This is going to be both front and back. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and measure for my front. My front hip arc plus 2 1/2 was 11 1/4. So I'm going to measure from the selvage across 11 1/4, and I'll take a snip. I'd rather go a little large than too small. Given error, go larger than smaller. And then go ahead and tear down, and this will be our front. Sometimes when you get to the end, you get a lot of yarns there. You might have to cut them. And before, this is my front. I'll tell you again. I'm just going to put an F here so that I know which one it is. So first, I measured down the selvage, the length, 22 1/4, and I tore across. But I was kind of conservative tearing across. I didn't go all the way across the fabric. I went just enough for probably my front. Then, along the crosswise, I measured my front hip arc plus the 2 1/2, snipped, and I tore down. Then I put an F here so I know this is my front. Okay? Now I'm going to do my back. Now actually, I'll probably go ahead and tear all the way across. But I will now, on this side of the selvage, let me just tear that real quick. I'll cut it. This one, they tore it kind of crooked, so I'm going to just cut it straight across. Okay, so I'll do my 22 1/4 here. Okay, so 22 1/4. I'll snip it. This is along the selvage for my length, because remember, lengthwise goes down. Okay. Okay, now the back. The back is 11 1/2, so I'm going to measure across. That is my back hip plus 2 inches. Okay, and again, if you error, go larger than smaller. That starch got in my lungs. Hip arc plus 2 1/2. That's what's written here is hip arc plus 2 1/2.
So we do each of them twice?
No. This is the measurement I put down here with the 2 1/2. I'm not going to add another 2 1/2. Okay? It's what I put here, but I'm telling you why I have that number. Okay, so now I've got that. And this is going to be my back. Okay? So now, I'm just going to write B on there real
Great,
quick.
that's in my video now.
Okay, so let me go back over that. Do you see right here in the center where it says preparing the muslin? And I had you take your hip arc plus 2 1/2. These are the measurements you're using. Does that make it a little clearer? These are the measurements that you're using. I told you it's the hip arc plus 2 1/2 when I was tearing it, just so you know that I'm using this number, not this number. Okay? So that's how wide it will be. The length is the length plus 2 1/4, which is 22 1/4. Okay? So what I want you guys to do, I'm going to let you go ahead and tear it, and then I'm going to show the pressing and the marking. Okay? So let's do it together. Go back to your table. Identify your selvage. If you don't know what a selvage is, it's the finished edge of the fabric.
My front hip